Tuesday, July 31st, 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 2018. Guys, in this video, we're going to take a look at some amazing weather phenomenon footage that's surfaced in the last 24 to 48 hours. Got some very interesting pictures. We're going to take a look at just a brief look at the wildfires over in California. They're burning all over out west here. If you look at the GOES 16, it's very out of balance with regard to the weather right now. East of the Mississippi, very wet. In fact, way too wet. Looking at flooding this week in multiple states. West of the Mississippi, hot and dry. Way too many wildfires. In fact, California's got more than they're wanting to deal with right at the moment. They are, however, getting a handle on the Redding fire. That is still the biggest wildfire by far in the state right now at over 110,000 acres. The smaller fire here is the Whaleback fire. These two down here, I'm not exactly sure of the name. They're south and to the west of the Redding fire, but you can see this is a look from the College of DuPage satellite today. Almost looks like either a plume of intensely white smoke or some sort of a large flame that erupted from the wildfires. Don't know which, but been watching these fires for days from this instrument, and you can see them right here at the College of DuPage website. This is the GOES 16, and you can see there's a big dome of high pressure parked right over the central United States that's dominating the weather right now. That will change in the coming days. All models with regard to weather change constantly. Right now, the weather models are showing another Category 4 this time. I think last week was a Category 3. As it made landfall, it did, I think it came down to at least a Category 1, maybe a tropical storm. This one they're showing it's a week out, so models will more than likely change. Could increase, you never know. But a Category 4 landfall sometime next week, south central Japan. So big heads up. They've been dealing with a lot of intense weather over here. Record-setting heat, record-setting rain, more rain on its way. We're going to take a look at a blood moon here in just a few minutes that was spotted from Oklahoma on the 29th from Earthly Patriot. And it is definitely, unmistakably, a reddish-orange moon the night of July 29th. Pretty incredible. But first, I want to show you some incredible video footage from Litchfield Park, Arizona. Video was here at Instagram, posted by Bernadette Thoe, Thoe, on Instagram. She did give me permission to share her video. Looks like something from, it looks like a clip from Hurricane Irma. And if you didn't know better, you would think it was some sort of a tropical storm or hurricane. I think the winds at the time of the video were obviously at hurricane force. You can see the palm trees. Look at that. I mean, they're in a familiar position. We've seen that before with regard to following tropical storms. But this tree here did something I can say I've never seen before. A palm tree breaking off, and it went through the roof of that apartment, that condo right there. Those trees may be thin, but let me tell you, they're very flexible and they're very strong. So when I saw that, I was very surprised. Tells me that tree may have been dehydrated. I don't know. Could be from dehydration, but here's the aftermath of the tree falling through the roof of the condo and landing in their living room. Unbelievable. That was from right out here in the desert, Litchfield Park, Arizona. And there's the aftermath of the storms here at the GOES 16. They were incredible. In fact, I had some people from down in Florence say that they thought they experienced a tornado that night. The weather was very intense. In fact, I spent 30 minutes rearranging our backyard from all the patio furniture and different things. Almost got the trampoline, but did not. The basketball goal was on the ground, so had a big mess in our backyard as well. But here's a young lady that thought they experienced a tornado. This would be south and to the east of me. Hail pelted their home and their neighborhood, and within approximately 2 minutes of the hailstorm beginning, we heard an extremely loud roar. It sounded like a freight train. My husband and I are both from Texas, and we immediately knew what that sound was. It was a twister. Strong winds were coming from the west. We went to the interior bathroom and waited for about 3 to 4 minutes for the noise to subside. Thankfully, our house was not damaged. The galvanized steel pipes of our fence were bent over. Some of our neighbors were not so lucky. One house was totally demolished. And again, this is south and west of Phoenix. I'm sorry, southeast of Phoenix. The twisted remains of the house and Jeep were left across the street from where it once stood. Thankfully, though our neighbor was in the Jeep at the time, he was not harmed. But because the refrigerator had been thrusted into the back seat of the Jeep, as it and the house was rolled into a mass and moved over to the other side of the street, he had to break the window to get out of the Jeep. Amazing that he was not injured. Other houses were severely damaged, and porches and carports are gone. Trees ripped apart like the one you saw in Litchfield Park. It was quite a fierce storm, but very short-lived. And they're familiar with tornadoes. Being from Texas, we don't typically have tornadoes out here in Arizona, but she is 100% convinced that that was definitely a tornado they encountered the other night. So actually, this would have been yesterday. Hail, Albuquerque, New Mexico. This was sent in by Bobby. Storms in New Mexico as well. They've been all over with regard to Colorado, Wyoming. They've seen a fair amount of hail here recently, even into New Mexico, as you can see here. He's got a unique video that I wanted to share with you guys. This is the storm cloud that rolled through New Mexico. Here's another look at the hail as it's all over the ground. That's, what, quarter size? At least marble size. Damaged the car. Several dents, and those are hard to repair. So, but there's their car. But here's a video that Bobby took from New Mexico that's kind of interesting. I have no idea what we're looking at here, if that's part of these wires on this pole, but they don't make geometrical sense with regard to the pole. You've got one pole, there's 3 orbs up here in the sky, right in front of this lightning. And he also sent this video in. See the orbs? They're kind of hard to miss, but are those part of the wires? I don't think so. I don't know what those are. But these are from New Mexico, less than 48 hours old. I don't know. It's difficult to tell because I'm not familiar with this area. Doesn't look like to me it's part of any type of wiring system with regard to the poles, but don't know. 3 orbs in the sky in front of the lightning over in New Mexico. Those were sent in by Bobby. Actually, those are from the 29th. Those were sent in on the 30th. Moving on to some more interesting, where did it go? Hold on just a second. Aha. Covington, Georgia, sent in by David. Just a unique cloud configuration. Another unique cloud configuration sent in by Ben from Iron River, Wisconsin. These clouds raised up like big giant mushroom clouds. Those were sent in from Wisconsin. Unique rainbow configuration sent in by Holly of Montgomery, Alabama. Sky split in 2 in Oklahoma. I'm going to come back to Oklahoma here in just a moment. Take a quick look at this orange moon. This here is actually something in the sky. That's not on the windshield of this truck. They said in the email that they had just enough time to get one picture off of whatever this thing was as it was moving through the sky. And this is from Northeast Texas on the 25th. And this was sent in by Carol Ann. So I don't know what we've got going on here. It kind of favors the color of a cloud, but it doesn't necessarily look like the rest of the clouds in the picture. So whatever that is, it's very, very unusual, and I have no idea what to even make of it. What you're looking at here is a hole punch cloud. That's what they call these things. That's from Luxembourg, Germany. That was sent in by Stephen, along with an article from Luxembourg, Germany, that, where's it at? Right here. I don't know. I don't know what to think of these things. I find them very, very interesting whenever I do see them. You know, just, I don't know, they're fascinating. And this gentleman here, Stephen, had never seen one before. This is over in Germany. So he took a picture of it. It was also featured on the local news. That's what you're looking at here. So they're not used to seeing these things in Germany. So rather interesting story. Thank you, Stephen, for sharing. I greatly appreciate that. What do we got here? That's the hail from Bobby. I'm sorry, guys. I've got a lot of photos here I wanted to share. Victorville. This is a photo sent in from California by Melanie, and she noticed how this cloud just kind of looked like a stovepipe in the sky. See how it's got a flat top? Doesn't look natural either. Kind of like the hole punch clouds. They just don't look natural. So don't know what to think of that either. This is a video from Tucson, Arizona of gentlemen driving in hail. This is part of that big storm system that brought possibly tornadoes south and east of Phoenix. The big winds you saw over in Litchfield Park that snapped a palm tree. This is from down in around Tucson, Mount Lemmon to be exact. So a lot of storms out here in the Phoenix area. Of course, it's monsoon season, and that's not necessarily anything too super unusual. But when we see palm trees bent like they're in the midst of a hurricane, that is a little bit odd. This was sent in by Earthly Patriot. Video to Blood Moon in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma on July 29th. So this showed up in Oklahoma. And here's the video. I'm going to put it on full screen so we can get the full effect. Great capture. She sent this in, by the way. I'm not just helping myself to somebody else's videos. She sent this to me. Look at that. Let me turn up the brightness so you can see it. How about that? Pretty good.
What is today?
July 29th. Bright orange moon. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. That was sent in by Earthly Patriot. You can find the link to the Earthly Patriot YouTube channel below in the description box. Make sure you guys check that out. Last but not least, the seismographs at the website. And you guys can always visit the website. 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, updated data right here through the center. It's real time. If you click on the seismograph, go to the graph over in, well, by the time you get there, you watch this video, I'm sure it's already looped off. I'm looking at this now on July 31st, around 4:15 p.m. And you can see a very unusual signature on here at Mount Furi, Ethiopia. Mount Furi is a stratovolcano in Ethiopia. When we have been in these unique planetary arrangements, for some reason, volcanoes get active. At least they have historically. Now you're seeing activity at a volcano in Africa. That's a very unusual signature that lasted for, each column is 10 minutes. So it started off at the, well, right after midnight at the 50 hour on Universal Time. It lasted for a solid 10, 12 minutes, and then it started to taper off. But that's a very unusual signature at, once again, a volcano, just like we saw the big earthquakes at the volcano in Indonesia. Not saying that there's going to be earthquakes. All I'm saying is there's a very unusual signature at the seismograph at Mount Furi in Ethiopia. Very unusual to see something like that. That's not an earthquake. I don't know. It almost looks like some sort of a underground magma intrusion of some sort. That's not a classic earthquake signature. So just a big heads up. More volcanic energy like we saw in Indonesia with the big quakes and multiple aftershocks. That's not an earthquake, though. This is something different. So just interesting. We're definitely watching the earthquakes very, very closely, watching all the satellites, and you can check out the website down below in the description box. Real-time data, the newsroom up here at the top, the daily report, news articles updated daily, sometimes multiple times a day. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a super day. Be safe out there.